Now, as I say, I've not done this one before. This was the largest puzzle that Charles sent, so he has done it. He said it was more difficult but elegant, and that's one of the things I like about if we get puzzles that are described as elegant or interesting, that always puts them up the pecking order for me. So let's see how we would do this. Okay, there's a lot more information here. Right, let's look at this 3. That square can't be a 3, because if it is, this area breaks, because we couldn't therefore put a 3 in either of those 2 squares, and there'd only be 2 open squares. So this square is not in, and that leaves only 3 cells in the area. Now this square now can't be a 3, because that would break the orthogonally connected rule across regions. So that square must be red. These squares must be 3. Similarly there, that's got to be red. That leaves 3 open squares in this. Okay. Sorry about this. Let me just stare at this for a moment. There must be a way of doing this. Oh, now, okay, let's look at this top bit here. Oh, this is devious. Right, okay. So here we've got 3 connected areas, all with the same number. So let's just imagine for a moment. We know there's going to have to be 2 digits in this top left 2x2 or 4x1 block. You see what I mean? But there's going to have to be 2 digits here that have to escape. Now, because 2's can't bridge across other shapes that contain the same number, the only way the 2's in this block can get out is via this 1. They are trapped in by this shape and this shape. So that square must be a 1. This square must be a 2. Okay, let's put in some red cells and see if that tells us anything. Yes, it does. It does tell us something. So in order to get something out here, if we come left, you can't get out. There's too much area to cover with too few spaces. We can only put 2 numbers in this area. So if I put them both there, I've clearly not escaped to here. So I'm going to have to escape through this area. That means this square is a 2. Then one of those 2 is a 2 to escape. So this is not 2. This is not a 2 because that would break the 2x2 area rule. Similarly, this square can't be a 2 because then this would be red and we couldn't then get this out again. So that is connected like that. This is red. This is red. This square can't be a 2 because then it couldn't get out. So these 2 squares are 2, and that means that square must also be in. So I'll make that green to keep track of it. So that's a really interesting start. So clearly this has to come through this area somehow in order. Because I'm thinking this 1, well, it's only 1, isn't it? So if we made that the 1, all of these 3 squares would be red. So yeah, clearly it needs to come somehow through this area, either to connect here or to connect down here. Oh, hang on a minute. Right. Oh. Okay, let's look at... I've just noticed there's more of these 2's areas connected down here. Look. There's loads of them. Whoa, actually there are absolutely loads of them. All of these areas are 2's. So it's not possible. So how, when we put digits in this 3 area, how are they going to get across to that area, this area at the top? Because in effect there is a wall here. It would help if I could actually notate the edges of this, because obviously yeah, let me show you what I'm trying to explain. On the right hand side here, there's effectively a wall going on here. There is this, or that one maybe is better. Yeah, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. None of those, it's not possible for this anything down here to cut through this area, because to do so would require a 2 to be next to another 2 orthogonally. Now, the reason I've made these black is, whoa, well, firstly, how does this square connect over here again? It's got to come through this one area. So it's going to have to... Good Lord, look at this. This is unbelievable. Yeah. So let's just look at this square as an example. If this was the one, look, all of those squares are red, and now this area forms sort of a barricaded off area. So this is not in. So now how does this square get up here? The only way is if all those squares are in. Now you can see that allows us to label a 2, a 1 and a 2 like that, and therefore this must be a 2 and this must be a 2. Oh, this is, now these 2 have to be in. Ooh, hang on. Oh yes, okay. So now these 2 have to be in to connect to this square. Now these 2 can't be a 2's because that would break this, and they can't be 3's because that would break this. So they must be 4's. This now forms 2 by 2 block. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. And now this has to connect to here. And this is a 3-sized area. So it can't be 3 because that would break that. It must be 2. Okay, yeah, this is seriously clever. Right, I'm going to have to make some of these cells white again in order to see how big the areas are. So I put my 3's in here. But to imagine there's sort of a wall down the grid like this. Yeah, okay, this area needs to connect to this, which needs to connect to this. So this square is in. It's not possible that both these squares are in. And we know there's a wall coming like this, so this square must be in. Therefore that square is red. Ooh, now look. If I make that square a 2, I have a real problem. Let me show you. If that square's a 2, where do I put the second 2 in this area? In this area here. Can't go here anymore. Now so this square would have to be red. If it goes here, obviously it's going to be isolated by a red cell that's going to appear there. But if this square is a 2, it can't go anywhere because it's hemmed in completely by areas labelled 2. So that means this square is not a 2. That must be red. This square is a 2. That means this square is red. This square is red. And in fact, the 2 in this area must always connect there because otherwise it's always isolated. So that makes sense. This square is red, and that means these 2 squares must be 2. This is absolutely brilliant. Now look, this square is totally isolated, so it must attach here, which is in a 1 square. And that gives us loads more reds again. These 2 squares must be red because they would connect to 2 otherwise. This square now must be a 3 because this square needs to get out. There's 2 more 3s to place. I can't put them there because that would create a 2 by 2 area. So those 2, I think, yeah, those 2 then allow the area to escape. Therefore this is in. Oh, and this must be in. These, this is staggeringly clever. So these 3 squares must be in, but if I make this area a 3 area, it breaks this, so it must be a 4 area. It's got to be a 4. Let's make that, turn that back white again. This avoids the 2 by 2 problem. This square must be in and must be a 2 because it's in a 2 area. These cells mustn't be isolated, so this must be a 3. These 2 squares can't now be in because that would create a 2 by 2 area, so this square is in. And yeah, we've got to be careful here because there can be no bridge across these 2 squares. So if this is a 3, this bottom area then, this whole area here, would have to come out through the top somehow, which it can't do, because this would have to be in, and then this area is blocked off, so this is not a 3. This must be the 3. These 2 squares can't be in because that would create a 2 by 2 area, so this square is in. And this area here, which I have not focused on for a while, obviously this whole area needs to get out. So it has to, all of these 4 squares must be in, and that means they're part of we can label them with 4s. Now, okay, cool. So now this can't be the 1 because that area then, we'd have to put reds in there, which would isolate. So that's a 1. These are red. This must come out. So this square is definitely a number. Okay, yeah, this square is a number, and it can't be a 2 or a 3. So it's either a 1 or it's a 4. It can't be a 1, I don't think, because if it's a 1, all of these squares are red then, and this area at the top is isolated. So again, this is a 4. Square. Let's make it white again. Hats off. This is just so clever. I mean, I have to admit, the more of these puzzles I do, the more I like them. This, we have to avoid the 2 by 2 problem. That makes this a 2. I need to put another 2 in here. It can't go there because that's going to connect 2s. So this little square here finishes the puzzle. Let me just stare at this and see if it looks... All the white squares are orthogonally connected, and I don't think there's any 2x2 areas. Wow. Wow. I love this puzzle. Thank you, Charles, for sending us this. Let us know if you enjoyed it. If you did, we'll try and find more of them. I don't know where we'll get them from. Maybe you guys can send them to us. We'll be back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.